The hospital administrator slammed the office door. "You're fired. Security will escort you out." Dr. Nathan Cross stood in wrinkled scrubs, blood still on his shoes from a 12-hour shift. His hands shook from exhaustion. The administrator, Margaret Chen, pointed at the hallway. "You have 5 minutes to collect your things." Nathan's voice came out hoarse. "I saved that man's life." Margaret's face was stone. "You violated protocol. You operated without authorization. The family is threatening to sue." Behind her, through the office window, Nathan could see the ICU, could see the patient he'd operated on. Breathing, alive. Margaret picked up her phone. "Security to administration, now. If you love stories where the dismissed become undeniable, you're in the right place. Subscribe for more Hidden Billionaire stories." Nathan had been at County General for 18 months. Night shifts, weekend coverage, the work nobody wanted. He'd taken the position after selling his third medical technology company. The sale had been quiet. Private equity firm. $4.7 billion. Nathan was 39. He could have retired, could have done anything. Instead, he'd applied to work at the most underfunded hospital in Philadelphia, used his mother's maiden name on the application, Dr. Nathan Cross, not Nathan Chen, not the name on the patents, not the name in the business journals, just another ER doctor grinding through overnight shifts. His first company had started in a garage. Medical imaging software that could detect tumors 18 months earlier than existing technology. He'd built it with 2 friends from medical school, sold it at 30 for $800 million. The second company came 3 years later, surgical robotics. Precision instruments that reduced error rates by 40%. That one sold for $2 billion. The third was diagnostic AI. Pattern recognition that could identify diseases from symptoms faster than any human doctor. $4.7 billion. By the time he was 38, Nathan had more money than he could spend in 10 lifetimes. And he was miserable. The wealth had isolated him. Every relationship became transactional. People wanted funding, wanted connections, wanted access. Women dated the portfolio, not the person. Friends from medical school stopped calling, or called too much. Nathan tried philanthropy, donated hundreds of millions anonymously. It felt empty, like putting a bandage on a wound that needed surgery. So he'd done something crazy. Applied to work at County General using credentials from before the companies. Before the money, before everything changed. They'd hired him immediately, desperate for doctors willing to work nights. He'd shown up that first shift and felt something he hadn't felt in years. Useful. The patient had come in at 3 a.m. Motorcycle accident, internal bleeding. The attending surgeon was in another operating room. Couldn't break away. The patient was crashing. Nathan had made the call, prepped him, operated, repaired a lacerated spleen, and stopped the bleeding. Textbook procedure. The patient stabilized, transferred to ICU. By 7 a.m., Nathan thought it was over. He'd saved a life, done his job. Then the family arrived. Wealthy family. The patient's father was a state senator. He'd walked into the ICU, seen his son recovering, and immediately started asking questions. Who operated? Why wasn't the chief of surgery involved? Where was the authorization? The hospital legal team had panicked. Nathan had operated without explicit authorization from the attending. Technically a violation. The fact that the patient would have died waiting didn't matter. Protocol mattered. Liability mattered. The senator was threatening a lawsuit, threatening to go to the press. The hospital needed someone to blame. Nathan was the newest doctor, the lowest on the hierarchy. Expendable. Margaret had called him into her office at 8 a.m. He'd been awake for 26 hours, could barely stand. She'd laid it out clinically. We're terminating your employment effective immediately. You'll receive 2 weeks severance. We'll provide a neutral reference if asked. Nathan had tried to explain. The patient was dying. The attending was unavailable. I made a medical decision. Margaret held up her hand. You made an unauthorized decision that exposed this hospital to significant legal liability. We can't have that. Nathan's exhaustion made everything feel surreal. So you'd rather I let him die? Margaret's expression didn't change. I'd rather you follow protocol, call the attendant, get authorization, document everything. Nathan laughed, bitter, exhausted. He would have bled out in the time it took to make those calls. Margaret stood. That's not my problem anymore. It's not yours either. You're done here. Security arrived. 2 guards Nathan recognized. He'd treated one of them for a broken finger 3 months ago. The guard, Marcus, looked uncomfortable. Doc, I'm sorry. We gotta walk you out. Nathan nodded. He was too tired to fight, too tired to care. He walked to the locker room, cleaned out his locker. Someone had already removed his name from the assignment board, like he'd never existed. Other doctors watched. A few looked sympathetic. Most looked away. Hospital politics. Everyone knew the rules. Don't make waves. Don't create liability. Don't get noticed. Nathan had broken all 3. He walked through the ER on his way out. Nurses he'd worked with for 18 months pretended not to see him. Patients in the waiting room had no idea what was happening. Marcus and the other guard flanked him like he was dangerous. They reached the exit. Cold November air hit Nathan's face. Philadelphia morning, gray sky. Marcus stopped at the door. For what it's worth, Doc, everyone knows you saved that guy's life. Nathan looked at him. Doesn't matter what everyone knows. Matters what goes in the report. Marcus had no answer for that. Nathan walked to his car alone. He sat in his truck, a 10-year-old Ford Ranger, and stared at the hospital. He'd parked in the employee lot every shift for 18 months. Now he was trespassing. His phone buzzed. Text from his attorney. Saw the news. Senator's son. Are you okay? Nathan didn't know how his attorney had already heard. Didn't care. He typed back, I'm fine. The attorney responded immediately. Do you want me to handle this? Nathan knew what that meant. One phone call. His attorney could have the hospital's legal team on the phone within an hour. Could explain exactly who Nathan was, what he was worth. The lawsuit would disappear. The termination would be reversed. Margaret Chen would probably be fired. Nathan typed, No, leave it. He drove home. A 1-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood where car alarms went off nightly. He could have lived anywhere. Penthouse downtown, house in the suburbs. He'd chosen here because it was real, because his neighbors were teachers and mechanics and postal workers, because nobody cared what he did or what he was worth. He parked on the street, walked up 3 flights of stairs. His apartment smelled like the Indian restaurant below. He dropped his keys on the counter, sat on the couch, stared at the wall. His phone kept buzzing. News alerts. The senator had given a statement. Reckless doctor nearly killed my son. Hospital taking appropriate action. Nathan turned his phone off. The story hit the news by noon. Local station picked it up first. Doctor fired after unauthorized surgery on Senator's son. The report was one-sided. Senator's version only. Reckless procedure, violation of protocol, family considering legal action. Nathan's name was mentioned. Dr. Nathan Cross. No photo. The hospital released a statement. We take patient safety seriously. The employee in question has been terminated. By evening, it was national news. Medical ethics oversight, the importance of protocol, talking heads debated. Some defended Nathan, most didn't. The details didn't matter. The narrative was set. Reckless doctor, wealthy family, justice served. Nathan didn't watch. He slept for 14 hours. Woke up at midnight, made coffee, sat in the dark. His phone had 200 notifications. He ignored them all. One email stood out. From Dr. Sarah Mitchell, another ER doctor at County General. They'd worked together often. She was good, careful, by the book. The email was short. I know what you did was right. For what it's worth, the patient is doing well, full recovery expected. I'm sorry this happened. Nathan read it twice, deleted it, poured his coffee down the sink, went back to bed. 3 days later, Nathan received a letter. Law offices of Morrison and Blake, the senator's attorneys, notice of intent to file a malpractice lawsuit seeking damages for emotional distress, pain and suffering, and punitive damages. Amount $15 million. Nathan read the letter in his apartment. Rain hammered the windows. He could fight it. Could hire the best attorneys in the country. Could bury the senator in legal fees and procedural motions. Could reveal who he was and watch the lawsuit evaporate. He folded the letter, put it in a drawer, did nothing. The medical board opened an investigation. Standard procedure for any terminated doctor. Nathan received a notice to appear at a hearing. He went alone. No attorney. The board consisted of 5 doctors, all older, all established. They'd read the incident report, read the senator's complaint. One of them, Dr. Raymond Foster, led the questioning. Dr. Cross, can you explain why you proceeded with surgery without authorization? Nathan's answer was simple. The patient was dying. I saved his life. Dr. Foster frowned. Protocol exists for a reason. Patient safety requires oversight. Nathan met his eyes. Patient safety requires doctors who act when action is needed. If you're hooked on watching silence become the loudest power move, hit subscribe for more Hidden Billionaire stories. The board deliberated for 2 hours. Nathan sat in the hallway. Fluorescent lights. Institutional walls. He thought about his mother. She'd been a nurse, died of ovarian cancer when Nathan was in medical school. She'd worked at a hospital like County General. Overnight shifts, low pay. She'd told him once, medicine isn't about money or status. It's about being there when someone needs you. Everything else is noise. Nathan had built 3 companies, made billions, forgot that lesson. This job at County General had reminded him. Now it was over. The board's decision came back. Suspension pending further investigation. Minimum 6 months. Nathan accepted it without comment. Nathan stopped leaving his apartment. Groceries delivered, bills paid automatically. He sat in the dark most days, not depressed, just distant. His phone kept ringing, his attorney, his financial advisors, friends from before. He ignored them all. One call got through, unknown number. He answered without thinking. Dr. Cross? A woman's voice, familiar. This is Sarah Mitchell from County General? Nathan sat up. How did you get this number? Sarah hesitated. Hospital directory, look, I need to tell you something. The patient you operated on, the senator's son, he woke up yesterday, asked who saved him. They told him you were fired. He's upset, wants to make a statement. Nathan's chest tightened. Tell him not to. Sarah's voice was confused. Why? He could clear your name. The senator doesn't know his son is defending you. Nathan closed his eyes. It won't matter. The narrative is set. Tell him to focus on recovery. Sarah was quiet for a moment. Nathan, why aren't you fighting this? You saved his life. You did everything right. Nathan's voice came out flat. Sometimes doing everything right still ends badly. Tell him I'm glad he's okay. He hung up. Sarah called back. He didn't answer. The phone buzzed with a voicemail. He deleted it without listening. Stood. Looked out the window at the street below. Ordinary people living ordinary lives. He envied them. The senator's son, his name was Daniel, gave a statement anyway. Released through his own social media. The doctor they fired saved my life. I was dying. He didn't hesitate. He did his job. Now he's being punished for it. This is wrong. The post went viral. Millions of views. Comments flooded in. Support for Nathan, criticism of the hospital, anger at the senator. The narrative started shifting. News stations requested interviews with Nathan. He declined all of them. The hospital released a new statement. We stand by our decision. Protocol is paramount. The senator went silent. His attorneys didn't. The lawsuit moved forward. Morrison and Blake were aggressive. Depositions, document requests. They wanted Nathan's complete medical history, his financial records, everything. Nathan's attorney called. You need to respond. They're going scorched earth. Nathan sat in his apartment. Let them. The attorney's frustration was clear. Nathan, they're going to destroy you. Your reputation, your career, everything. If you just let me... Nathan cut him off. No. Handle it quietly. Settle if you have to. The attorney was silent. Then, settle? They're asking for $15 million for a patient who's fully recovered. This is extortion. Nathan's voice was ice. Then pay it. I don't care. The attorney made the call, offered to settle. Morrison and Blake countered at $20 million. Nathan approved it. The settlement was finalized in 3 weeks, confidential. No admission of wrongdoing. $20 million to make it go away. The senator released a statement. Justice has been served. We hope this sends a message about the importance of medical protocol. Nathan read the statement on his phone. Felt nothing. $20 million was less than he made in interest in a year. The money didn't matter. What mattered was the principle. He'd saved a life, been punished for it, and now he'd paid for the privilege. The irony wasn't lost on him. County General struggled after the story went national. Public opinion had turned. Donations dropped. 2 board members resigned. Margaret Chen faced internal pressure. A petition circulated calling for her removal. 5,000 signatures. She released a statement defending the decision. We cannot compromise on protocol. Patient safety is our priority. The statement was mocked online, turned into memes. Margaret's photo appeared next to the caption, Priorities protocol over people. She stopped giving statements. The hospital's PR firm advised silence. Let the story die naturally. It did. After 6 weeks, the news cycle moved on. New scandals, new outrage. County General faded from headlines. Nathan's suspension was quietly lifted after 7 months. The medical board sent a letter. Investigation concluded no evidence of negligence, license reinstated. Nathan read the letter twice, put it in the same drawer as the lawsuit notice, didn't respond, didn't celebrate. His attorney called. "This is good news. You can go back to work." Nathan looked around his apartment. 7 months of sitting, thinking, existing. "I don't want to go back." The attorney was confused. "Then what do you want to do?" Nathan had no answer. The call ended. Nathan sat in silence. He started walking every day, miles through Philadelphia. No destination, just movement. He walked through neighborhoods he'd never seen, past hospitals he'd never worked at, past lives he'd never lived. One afternoon, he found himself outside a free clinic. Small building, peeling paint, sign in the window. Volunteers needed. Nathan stood there for 20 minutes, then walked inside. A woman at the desk looked up. Tired eyes, kind smile. "Can I help you?" Nathan's voice was quiet. "I'm a doctor. I want to volunteer." She handed him a form. "Fill this out. We're desperate for help." He started the next week. 2 shifts, then 4, then 6. The clinic was chaos, understaffed, under-resourced. Patients who couldn't afford real hospitals. Nathan worked alongside nurses and med students and one other doctor, an older man named Paul who'd been volunteering for 15 years. Paul didn't ask questions, didn't care about Nathan's past, just taught him the clinic's rhythms, how to stretch supplies, how to treat patients with almost nothing, how to care when the system didn't. Nathan felt useful again, not like at County General, different, deeper, like medicine was supposed to feel. Sarah Mitchell found him 3 months later. She walked into the clinic during his shift. Nathan was stitching up a man who'd been cut in a fight. Looked up, saw her. His hands didn't stop working. Sarah watched from the doorway. When Nathan finished, she approached. "So this is where you've been?" Nathan cleaned his instruments. "How did you find me?" Sarah smiled. "Philadelphia's medical community is small. Word gets around when a good doctor disappears." Nathan didn't respond. Sarah looked around the clinic. "This place is a disaster." Nathan's voice was flat. "It serves people who need it." Sarah nodded. "I know, that's why I'm here. I want to help." She started volunteering 1 shift a week, then 2. She and Nathan fell into a rhythm, professional at first, then friendly, then something else. Sarah didn't ask about County General, didn't ask why Nathan had settled, didn't ask about money or career or any of it. Just worked beside him, treated patients, saved lives. After 3 months, she invited him to dinner. A small restaurant, nothing fancy. They talked about medicine, about patients, about why they'd become doctors. Sarah had grown up poor. Free clinic had saved her mother's life when she was 10. She'd promised herself she'd become a doctor, pay it forward. Nathan listened, told her about his mother, the nurse, the cancer, the promise he'd made to her. Most of it was true. They started dating, quietly, carefully. Sarah's apartment, Nathan's apartment. Walks through the city, simple things. Nathan felt something he hadn't felt in years. Normal, like he could be just a person, not a portfolio, not a founder, not a billionaire. Just Nathan. A doctor who volunteered at a free clinic, who dated another doctor, who lived in a modest apartment and drove an old truck. Sarah made him laugh, made him feel light. He thought about telling her, about the companies, the money, the truth. Every time he stopped himself. What they had was real. The truth would change it, would make it complicated. He couldn't risk that. A year after the lawsuit, Daniel Morrison, the senator's son, found Nathan walked into the free clinic on a Tuesday afternoon. Nathan was treating a woman with pneumonia when Daniel appeared. Nathan looked up, recognized him immediately. Daniel waited until Nathan finished, then approached. "Dr. Cross?" Nathan set down his stethoscope. "You shouldn't be here." Daniel's voice was urgent. "I need to talk to you about what happened." Nathan shook his head. "It's over. Move on." Daniel stepped closer. "It's not over. My father lied. The lawsuit was bullshit. I've been trying to find you for months." Nathan's jaw tightened. "Why?" Daniel pulled out his phone, showed Nathan a video. It was from the senator's office, a conversation between the senator and his attorneys. The senator's voice was clear. "I don't care if the doctor saved Daniel's life. He embarrassed me, made me look bad. I want him destroyed financially, professionally, whatever it takes." The attorney's voice. "That could be expensive." The senator. "I don't care about the cost. Make an example." Nathan watched the whole video. 2 minutes. Damning. Daniel's eyes were wet. "I recorded this 6 months ago. I wanted to release it. My father threatened to cut me off, disinherit me. I was a coward. But I can't live with this anymore. You deserve to know the truth." Nathan handed the phone back. "What do you want me to do with this?" Daniel was confused. "Release it, clear your name, destroy my father's career. He deserves it." Nathan looked around the clinic. Patients waiting, nurses working, Paul treating a child's fever. "Releasing this won't change anything, won't give me back the year I lost, won't undo the damage." Daniel's voice rose. "But it's justice. It's the truth." Nathan met his eyes. "Justice doesn't heal anyone. I'm done with revenge. I'm done with proof points. Tell your father he won, and tell him to leave me alone." Daniel stood there, speechless. Nathan walked away. Back to his patients. Daniel left. Nathan never saw him again. But Daniel released the video anyway, posted it online with a full explanation. The response was immediate. Explosive. The senator's career imploded within 48 hours. Calls for resignation. Ethics investigations. His own party turned on him. He resigned within a week, released a statement blaming stress, blaming politics, blaming everyone but himself. Morrison and Blake dropped him as a client. The $20 million settlement became national news. Proof of malicious prosecution. County General's Board fired Margaret Chen. Issued a public apology to Nathan, invited him back, offered chief of emergency medicine, double salary. Nathan declined through his attorney. No statement, no interview, just no thank you. The media found Nathan at the free clinic, cameras, reporters. They wanted the story. The underdog vindicated, the hero returning. Nathan refused every interview, kept working. The clinic's director, a woman named Dr. Lisa Reyes, fielded the press. "Dr. Cross is focused on patient care. He has no statement." The media camped outside for 3 days, then gave up. The story faded again. Nathan kept volunteering, kept treating patients, kept living his quiet life. Sarah asked about it once. "Why didn't you take the job at County General, Chief of Emergency Medicine? That's huge." Nathan was making coffee in her apartment. "Because this is where I'm supposed to be." Sarah didn't understand, but didn't push. Their relationship deepened. A year became 2. They talked about moving in together, about the future. Nathan knew he had to tell her. The longer he waited, the worse it would get. He planned it carefully. Dinner at her place. He'd explain everything, the companies, the money, the reason he'd been a county general, the reason he'd settled, everything. He arrived with wine. She cooked pasta. They ate. He started to speak. Before he could, she handed him an envelope. I found this in your jacket. I wasn't snooping. It fell out. Nathan's stomach dropped. Inside was a statement from his wealth management firm. Account balance, $8.4 billion. Sarah's face was unreadable. I need you to explain this. Nathan set down the envelope. I was going to tell you tonight. Sarah's laugh was bitter. Tell me what? That you're secretly a billionaire? That everything about you is a lie? Nathan's voice was calm. Nothing about me is a lie. The money is real, but it's not who I am. Sarah stood, paced. How? How do you have $8 billion? Nathan explained. The companies, the sales, the decision to work at county general, the lawsuit, the settlement, all of it. Sarah listened without interrupting. When he finished, she was crying. Why didn't you tell me? Nathan reached for her hand. She pulled away. Because I wanted you to know me, not my money. Sarah's voice shook. But I don't know you. I know Nathan Cross, the struggling ER doctor, the volunteer, the guy who drives a shit truck and lives in a terrible apartment. That person doesn't exist. Nathan's chest felt tight. That person is me. The money doesn't change who I am. Sarah shook her head. The money changes everything. It means every conversation we've had was based on a lie. Every moment we've shared was built on deception. Nathan stood. I never lied to you. Sarah's laugh was hollow. You lied by omission every single day for 2 years. She walked to the door, opened it. I need you to leave. Nathan left, drove to his apartment, sat in the dark. He'd known this could happen, had feared it. But experiencing it was different, worse. He'd found something real, something that mattered. And the truth had destroyed it. His phone buzzed. Text from Sarah, don't contact me, I need time. Nathan didn't respond. Days passed, then weeks. He kept volunteering at the clinic. Sarah stopped coming. Paul asked about her once. Nathan said she was busy. Paul nodded, didn't press. Nathan worked longer hours. Saw more patients. Tried to fill the space Sarah had left. It didn't work. Nothing worked. 3 months later, the free clinic faced closure. Funding cuts. The building's owner was selling. Dr. Reyes gathered the staff. We have 60 days. I'm trying to find new space, trying to secure funding, but it's not looking good. The volunteers were devastated. Paul looked broken. This clinic has served this community for 30 years. Dr. Reyes had no answers, just apologized. The meeting ended. Nathan sat alone in the exam room, thought about the patients, the people who depended on this place, the lives that would be affected. He made a call to his attorney. I need you to do something, quietly. 30 days later, Dr. Reyes received a call. Anonymous donor. Willing to purchase the building, establish an endowment, fund the clinic in perpetuity, $500 million. Dr. Reyes thought it was a prank. The attorney assured her it wasn't. Papers were signed. The building was purchased, the endowment established, the clinic was saved. Dr. Reyes tried to find out who the donor was. Hit walls everywhere. The attorney was professional, immovable. My client wishes to remain anonymous. Dr. Reyes gathered the staff, announced the news. Everyone celebrated. Paul cried. Nathan smiled, said nothing. Sarah heard about the donation. Everyone in Philadelphia's medical community did. $500 million to save a free clinic? Anonymous donor. She sat in her apartment reading the news. Something clicked. She pulled out her phone. Called Nathan. He answered. Sarah. Her voice was quiet. It was you. The donation. Nathan didn't confirm or deny. Sarah continued. I've been thinking about what you said, about the money not changing who you are. I didn't believe you, but this is who you are. Someone who uses wealth to save things that matter. Nathan's voice was careful. I just wanted to help. Sarah was crying. Can we talk? In person? They met at a coffee shop, neutral ground. Sarah looked tired, beautiful but worn. I'm sorry for how I reacted, for pushing you away. Nathan shook his head. You had every right. I should have told you sooner. Sarah reached across the table, took his hand. I understand why you didn't. The money does change things. Changes how people see you, how they treat you. You wanted something real. I get that now. Nathan's throat tightened. I still want that. With you, if you'll let me. Sarah smiled. I want that too, but no more secrets. Complete honesty about everything. Nathan nodded. Complete honesty. They rebuilt slowly, started dating again. This time with everything on the table, Sarah met Nathan's financial team, saw the scope of his wealth, the investments, the companies, the foundations. It was overwhelming, but she handled it, asked questions, tried to understand. Nathan showed her the parts of his life he'd hidden. The penthouse he owned but never used, the cars in storage, the properties around the world. Sarah walked through it all like a museum. This is surreal, Nathan agreed. That's why I don't live like this. It doesn't feel real. The clinic feels real. You feel real. Sarah kissed him. Then let's keep living real, with the option of surreal when we need it. Daniel Morrison reached out one more time. Email. Simple. I heard about the clinic donation. I know it was you. Thank you for being who you are. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to use my privilege for good. You showed me what that looks like. Nathan read it twice, replied with one line. Good luck, Daniel. Mean it. Daniel responded. I will, I promise. Nathan believed him, filed the email away, focused on the work. The clinic thrived with the new funding, expanded services, hired more staff, served more patients. Nathan kept volunteering, refused any recognition. Just another doctor, just doing the work. Nathan proposed to Sarah on a Tuesday. No grand gesture, no expensive ring. They were volunteering at the clinic. End of a long shift. Nathan just asked, Will you marry me? Sarah laughed. Now? Here? Nathan shrugged. Why not? This is where everything that matters happens. Sarah said yes. They married 3 months later. Small ceremony, City Hall, 20 guests. Paul was there, Dr. Reyes, a few close friends. No press, no publicity. Just two people making promises. They honeymooned at Nathan's house in Maine. A place Sarah didn't know existed. Small cottage on the coast. They spent 2 weeks there, walking, reading, existing. It was perfect. Senator Morrison never recovered. The scandal destroyed him. He tried to rebuild. Consulting, speaking, nothing worked. The video Daniel released followed him everywhere. He became a cautionary tale. Pride before the fall. He died 5 years later. Heart attack. Small funeral. Daniel gave the eulogy. Talked about lessons learned. About the cost of arrogance. About trying to be better than the man who raised him. Nathan didn't attend. Read about it in the paper. Felt nothing but distance. The senator's chapter was closed, had been for years. Nathan was focused on different things now, building things that mattered, with people who mattered. The clinic became their life. Nathan and Sarah both volunteered there for years. They had a daughter, Emma. Raised her understanding that wealth was responsibility, not status. That helping people was the point. County General eventually merged with a larger system, lost its independence. The emergency room where Nathan had worked was renovated. All trace of his time there erased. Margaret Chen moved to another state, took a position at a smaller hospital, kept her head down, never spoke about what happened. The past became prologue, a lesson in the cost of protocol over people. At 70, Nathan finally stopped volunteering at the clinic. His hands weren't steady enough anymore. But he came every week, talked to patients, listened to their stories, offered what he could. Presence, attention, care. The things that didn't require steady hands, just a willing heart. Emma had become a doctor, worked at the same clinic. The cycle continued. Sarah and Nathan grew old together. The wealth remained, invested, donated, used for good, but never displayed, never flaunted. Just a tool, nothing more, nothing less. One afternoon, Nathan returned to County General, not as a doctor, as a patient, chest pain. Sarah drove him. They sat in the emergency room, the same room where he'd worked 18 months of night shifts, where he'd saved Daniel Morrison's life, where everything had started. A young doctor approached. "Mr. Cross?" Nathan nodded. The doctor smiled. "I heard about you, about what happened here. You're kind of a legend." Nathan shook his head. "I'm just a guy who tried to do his job." The doctor examined him. The chest pain was minor, stress, nothing serious. Nathan was cleared to go home. Walking out, Nathan passed the wall of donor plaques, names in bronze. People who'd given money to the hospital over the years. His name wasn't there. Never would be. He'd never donated to County General. Never would. Some wounds didn't need healing. Some institutions didn't deserve second chances. Sarah took his hand. "You okay?" Nathan looked around the emergency room one last time, saw the controlled chaos, the doctors rushing, the patients waiting, the same rhythms he'd been part of. "Yeah," he said, "I'm okay." They walked out together into the Philadelphia afternoon. The city stretched around them, busy, indifferent, perfect. If this story reminded you that the quietest people often carry the heaviest truths, subscribe now for more Hidden Billionaire stories, because real power doesn't need to announce itself.